Mark Cuban said that if he had to start over again from scratch, that he would start in sales. You're looking at all these options, you're trying to decide what's the best path. Should I start my own business? Should I do multi-level marketing? Should I, pursue some kind of other career? In this video, guys, I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of running a business and of being in sales. For a lot of people, they're trying to make their first 100,000 or 200,000, whatever the number might be, and they look at starting a business as a good way to be able to get there. And I want to just break down for you some of the numbers behind business and why it may or may not make sense for you depending on what your goals are. So say your goal is to make, let's say $10,000 a month for easy math. That's $120,000 a year. So you have a business that's doing $120,000 a year or $10,000 a month. To a lot of people, they would think that's great, right? You're making $10,000 a month, you're bringing in revenue. That sounds like a good, successful business, right? But I want to talk through what some of the actual numbers behind that might look like, right? So the first thing is there's revenue versus net profit. So revenue is the total amount of money that the business brings in, and net profit is what the business owner actually brings home after expenses, etc. So say you're bringing in $10,000 a month, but you have one employee. Say you're paying someone $3,000 a month, which isn't that much. You have a lease, which is $1,000 to $2,000 a month. So that right there is $5,000. And if you have any softwares, which any business in the 21st century is going to have some softwares, that's probably about $1,000 a month too. So right between those three things, that's probably about $6,000 a month out of that $10,000. Okay, cool. So now you have about $4,000 left over every month. Now, the challenge is you're going to have ups and downs. So you're going to have some months where you're making money, some months where you're losing money. And you as a business owner take on that risk because you have to pay your employees, your software, and your lease, no matter how much sales that you bring in. So you factor that out across the year. Now, instead of making $10,000 a month as a business owner, you're actually only making $4,000 a month in actual profit, which is money that goes into your bank account, which is the whole reason that you're doing this in the first place, right? So if you're making $4,000 a month in net profit after an entire year, 12 months, you made a whopping total of $48,000. So if you look at all of that, you're taking on all this risk, you're having to deal with employees, you're still working full time, and you're having to generate the sales to be able to keep that business going. That's a lot of different things. That's like 4 or 5 different roles plus liability, all to make $48,000 a year. And the stats are that most businesses don't make any money for the first couple years of existence, and a lot of businesses actually fail because the ebbs and flows of the market are too great. So these are some of the pros and cons of starting a business. The pros are you have the freedom to do what you want. It can be scalable, and if you get good at it long term, there's a ton of opportunity there. But the downsides are you're going to have to do a ton of work to get started. It's going to take a long time, and there's a lot of risk and potential downside there as well. So what are some of the other options? Maybe you don't have $100,000 to go out and start your own business, but you still want to get ahead. You still want to be able to build the financial freedom that you want. There are some other options that you can do. And what I recommend is instead of trying to learn all these different skills at once, just focusing on one skill set that you can learn to actually get you ahead and start to build the resources that you need to launch a business or to make investments down the road if you want. And one of those skills that you can use to actually generate a high income while having the freedom that you want is sales or sales entrepreneurship. And that's exactly why Mark Cuban said that if he had to start over again from scratch, he would start in sales because it's such a good opportunity where you don't have the overhead, you don't have employees, you don't have liability, it doesn't take $100,000 to get started, but you can actually start and go out there in the marketplace and start to generate income and make money while using someone else's business system. So what are some of the cons of being a sales entrepreneur working in sales? Well, some of the cons are you don't own the business, right? So you can't totally change the product or do different marketing things and stuff like that. You're somewhat limited on what you can do in the internal business operations. And another one of the cons of sales entrepreneurship is it's a challenging role. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take effort and focus to be able to produce the results you want. But what are some of the pros of working as a sales entrepreneur or a sales professional? Number one would be, it's kind of like the middle ground between having a job and having a business, where you actually have the security of a job because you don't have to start the business, you don't have to hire the employees or take on the risk and overhead, but you also have more so the freedom of a business owner because you're able to kind of work on your own terms. You're able to generate a value-based, performance-based income based on the work that you do. So it's kind of like that middle ground that you can learn about business, get your foot into that door, for while making high income. And the second pro is you actually get paid no matter if the business is profitable or not. Typically in sales, you have a set commission percentage. So if you bring in a certain amount of revenue to the business, you get X percentage of that revenue, no matter if the business is crushing it or if they're struggling, they have lots of bills, they have legal stuff, HR, whatever, you're still getting paid that commission on the deal that you brought in. And you don't have to stress and worry about all the other things that are going on, running ads, doing marketing, managing people, keeping up with financing, debt, all this stuff, because all you have to do is focus on doing your one thing with your one skill and getting really good at that. Some of the most wealthy and successful people in today's economy actually started their career in sales because they learned all about business while learning about communication and sales in that foundational position. One of the other pros of working in sales is every day is new and challenging, right? If you worked in some jobs in the past, it's like every day you show up and you do the same thing again and again and again. It's like if I keep doing this, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing for the next 30 years of my life. When you're working in sales as a sales entrepreneur, every single customer, every single situation, every single day is different because you're having different interactions, different problems that you're solving, and you're being able to build relationships and connections at the same time. So these are some of the pros and cons of business and sales entrepreneurship so that you can make an informed decision like what's the best path for you to go down specifically, right? Do you have the $100,000 and do you have experience in business and you're ready to go out and take the leap and start your own business? Cool, do that. Or if you're like, hey, I have a job, I'm making some money, but I don't have 100 grand yet, I'm trying to get over that six-figure mark or multi-six figures, and you don't want to have to quit your job or take all the risk of starting your own business, then maybe going down the path of sales entrepreneurship will be the better fit for you because you can actually start to make money, build investments, and build businesses down the road if that's something you want, while learning about business, making high income, and not having to take on all that risk. So I hope you got some value from this video and helping you determine what is the best path for you. If you got some value from this, go ahead and smash the like button down below. Leave a comment, let me know, did you love it, did you hate it, share it with your friends and family. That's it for this video. If you want to learn more about what we do here at Winner Circle, go to winnercircletraining.com or click the link down below. Otherwise, guys, I will see you on the next video. Don't just listen, implement.